The sky, it was dark and brooding and angry. But it was not black. Always when I think of storms, I think of darkness, of lightning illuminating all for less than a second, burning its image onto the eyes. I think of cold wind, rain and thunder, but this storm is different. The sky was red. Like a blood moon that bathes everything it touches with the taint of a red hue, but darker. Much darker is this. Everything is dark red and brown. Everything I see is touched with the colour of dried blood. We have known for days that they were coming. We watched the clouds of red move towards us across the skies. Slowly, methodically. This time around, it is no mad rush, no dash from their boats to our doors, to smash what they can, to kill whom they can, and then leave like thieves in the night. This time is different. This time the Norska are not just raiding. They are coming to kill us all. Not just some, not for glory or booty or rank. All. This time they will kill us all if we do not stop them. Our scouts had passed the horizon and crested the hills that lay there, but they never returned. 3 more attempts were made, but none returned. Not one. I'm almost glad I did not know what was coming until this moment. Knight of the realm as I am, still I am glad. For I had those 2 days of sheer bliss. Concern, yes. Fear, yes. But I now know that anything I thought was fear during those days was in fact the faintest slither of water compared to the now mighty river of quailing that now besets my very breast. Lord Sigmar, forgive me, for I am scared. I will do my part, but I am scared. They have not reached us yet, but we have espied the size of their muster, the nature of its parts, and as a vision that no mortal should ever have had to see, ever had to witness, let alone have it come towards us, toward me. Before we could even see them, we noted their advent. The trees began to burst into flames in waves, like something was too close to them, and lit them with an infernal heat. On the very grasslands in front of us crept fire abreast with the immolated trees. Even the grass burned. But when they hove into view, it was more than many of the steeds could suffer. They bolted and ran rampant, trying to flee the scene of the crime about to be perpetrated. Squires, knights and men-at-arms fell from their horses, so wild were they at that moment. But they are bred for war, as much as we. Their initial fear, though justified on a myriad of levels, was soon brought back under control. The things that cavorted, lurched, ran, charged, dragged themselves towards us was beyond description. Norska were there in parts, but amongst all of the legions of hell. Beasts as tall as a building, skull crushers and dark knights, red burning demons of rage, all coming towards us. Standing in lines 50 abreast, we are now in position again. The thousands of pikemen, billmen, archers and men-at-arms that are to our right would usually fill me with confidence. We are all ordered and ready, had fought so many enemies together. But I know this will be the last time I see these men, these gallant pennants and banners held defiantly aloft. Our cannon begin to salute the larger foes, and more densely packed groups of these horrors, but our steeds are used to the thunder of war. I see flags raised on the hill where the commands stand with the main body of the force. Our Lord raises his lance twice in the air, signalling that he has understood and will obey. It also tells us that the time has come. It seems the lords in the command tent believe that our charge will break the lines of the enemy. I cannot see them running. I cannot see us surviving. But at this moment in this role, serving my liege, as I always have done. It is no longer my concern. We canter, then simply charge. The tide of flames and red is speeding towards us so swiftly I suspect the general believed that if we did not move now, then we would be the ones receiving the charge. Mere moments pass before I lower my lance and it bursts through the torso of a red fiend, slaying it. I draw my sword and instantly bring it down to continue my work as my warhorse thunders forward into their midst. The things in front of me die too easily. My sword arm Quicksilver fast this day, so I make the most foolish of all mistakes. I begin to hope. As my arm rises and falls again and again, my warhorse's hooves smash those below, and rising up on occasion to destroy those in front, we see them fall in their droves. The holy light of our order seems to shine directly through me this day, and none can stand before me, before us. It was then, as these red beings of hate and war turned and fled, that I realized it was not me or even we that had elicited such a withdrawal. A shadow had fallen over the battlefield where we stood, but I had thought it the clouds. I had thought that until it landed in our midst. Huge, its arms thicker than a bedstead, its torso larger than a house, its hooves the size of horses. It landed, wings sizable enough to keep it aloft, then beat down on us, and many were unseated from their steeds there and then, many horses blown over. It laughed and screamed obscenities as it began its horrific toll. The swing of its mighty axe took horses and threw them into the air, cleft-plated rider and steed in twain in a single blow. With each sally his axe took a half-dozen of us, his sword an equal tithe of pain and suffering. It could not be stopped. It could not be reasoned with. It would never relent. Its rage was unquenchable. As it comes towards me, I stand my ground. As my horse refuses to move, it is paralyzed with fear. But my shield arm is up, and my sword is back. I will make a good end of it. Sigmar, remember my name and claim my soul, for I come to you in mere moments. Welcome, Nerglings. I'm Voldemort, and I have been asked to tell you a tale or two until Uncle Nurgle returns. I hope you do not mind the interruption of your normal scheduled viewing, but needs must when the devil drives, eh? I usually run a lore site for Warhammer 40k, so please do bear with me if this style and presentation of Warhammer fantasy is not polished. I am learning as I go, Nerglings, so do be patient if you can. The initial story was a taster to try to understand the mortal's potential view of the being we are here to discuss today. For there are few beings that are more important, more potent, and more quintessentially Warhammer fantasy than the Bloodthirster of Khorne. Now, for the basics, I would like to lean on existing wisdom to ease the pathway. To quote, Bloodthirsters, guardians of the throne, deathbringers of Khorne, blooded ones. Bloodthirsters are not only the most deadly of Khorne's demons, but the mightiest of demonkind entire. A single such beast is a harbinger of bellowing death, is destruction beyond telling, and lives only to slaughter, maim, and destroy all that it encounters. It is the fury of war given form, the unfettered primal rage of the world made manifest. Such should be expected of a beast whose master is the god of bloodletting, slaughter, and murder. Those few who have confronted a bloodthirster and survived commonly recall an overwhelming impression of vast size and unchecked barbarity, of roaring and snarling death riding upon Stygian wings that eclipse the sun. The bloodthirster's ruddy skin is covered with coarse fur and brass armour, slick and gleaming with the blood of innumerable victims. This armour is forged upon the demon's flesh by Khorne himself, and thereafter becomes a living part of the demon, even whilst maintaining a brutal intelligence of its own. As such, even the Bloodthirster's armour is wrathful and longs for slaughter. In one hand the Bloodthirster carries an ensorcelled axe that thirsts for blood and slaughter. In the other, the demon wields a cruelly barbed lash, with which it can easily flay the flesh from a victim's bones. These weapons are wielded with unbelievable force, propelled by muscles as hard as iron and driven by a timeless fury that neither slackens nor fades. Bloodthirsters have no sorceress abilities, for Khorne loathes such eldritch trickery and shuns the practice of the magical arts. Foolish mortals might consider this to be a weakness, for what god of slaughter could shun so powerful a weapon as magic? Rather, a Bloodthirster resonates with an echo of his dark liege's wrathful contempt. Indeed, the presence of a wizard amongst the enemy ranks inevitably makes a Bloodthirster fight with even more fury than is normal, if such a thing could be imagined. Yet it is more than mere wrath that allows a Bloodthirster to eclipse other greater demons. Neither does his irresistible strength guarantee primacy, nor skills earned in eternity of battle. Rather, it is all of these traits shackled to the Bloodthirster's bestial and predatory nature. Within the Bloodthirster's raging mind there is no thought, no deliberation, no appreciation of intrigue or manipulation. It thinks only of the hunt, of the blood to be spilt in Khorne's name, and the skulls to be gathered for the blood god's mighty throne. Thus is the Bloodthirster the most relentless and single-minded of all demons. Others will sometimes retire from battle if overmatched, to husband strength and bring more insidious talents into play, but not so a Bloodthirster. Should a greater demon of Khorne find itself outnumbered, surrounded, mortally wounded, or even beset by a hero empowered with divine might, it does not stop fighting. Such is the nature of a Bloodthirster. It does not retreat, does not falter, but roars fresh defiance with every blow, swinging its axe with ever more bloodlust, and cleaving fresh skulls for Khorne with each unstoppable strike. End quote. Ah, the Bloodthirster of Khorne. Even from their early days and early casts, they have always been, in my mind, absolutely magnificent. They are as melodramatic as one would wish. The newer sculpts are absolutely brilliant as well, and every inch is covered with taut chains, muscles, scars, spikes, fur, fangs, or flames. As a centerpiece for an army, there can be only one other thing that even comes close, and that would be another greater demon. So let us hear it for the Bloodthirsters, some of the oldest and most majestic and powerful beings to stalk the Warhammer fantasy setting. I have been Voldemort, your faithful servant. I hope you enjoyed my introduction to the Bloodthirster of Khorne. I hope to be able to come back and regale you with more tales until Uncle Nergling returns. Should you have any interest in Warhammer 40k and require some light entertainment, then do please go check out my own channel, Voldemort's Guides to Warhammer. Now, no matter what you do today, do try to make some time for fun. Toodaloo.